Hello and welcome to another tutorial on various cool things that you can do with technology in your classroom. I want to talk today about Edmodo, and you can see the URL up there, www.edmodo.com. And this is the screen that you will get, and it doesn't matter whether you get it as a teacher or a student. This is the way that the screen's going to show up for the first time. And as usual, you need to sign up. This is another free one, but you do need to sign up. You need to give them an email address and a password. And as you can see, it's also available for those of you that have your own device, whether you have an Android device or whether you have an iOS device. There's also an app for it as well. So if the faculty in the class is using either a computer or a mobile device, they'll access it the same way. Most of the students are going to be accessing this either on an iPad or an Android tablet or maybe a smartphone, or they could be accessing it on a laptop as well. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. Remember, you have to get your own account. I'm going to go ahead and log in, and we'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm already logged in. When you create your account the first time, you'll have a choice of selecting I'm a teacher or I'm a student. So, select the appropriate way depending on who you are as you're watching this video. We've now entered into the class. Essentially what Edmodo is a collaboration tool. It's kind of like your own personal learning management system. So although you may have, maybe you're teaching a UBD class that has a Blackboard component, you can utilize some of that in your class as you're teaching. You may not have Blackboard as a component, or it might be just a small component. Your ability to digitally put everything together in your class on a week-by-week basis and have it at your disposal where you can get access to it from anywhere in the internet is actually pretty powerful. So I'm going to show you just a few of the things that you can do here, and we'll talk about more than I'm going to show you. This is something that you really need to spend some time exploring. But if you are a power user and you have a lot of assets that you're going to be using in the class from a digital perspective, in other words, things that are out in the cloud or stuff that you have access to in digital form, we're not talking about a lot of handouts here, this thing is pretty powerful. So what you will do once you get into your class, I just want to show you that once you log into your site, you're going to have all kinds of different posts from other people. That's on the home screen. That's based on certain other things that you may belong to. These are coming from some of these other support communities here on the left. So sometimes it's pretty good because you can get some ideas of what some other people are doing. Here's somebody that found a great website for social studies teachers, so they're sharing that. Here's some stuff about computer technology. Understand that instructors of all grade levels are using this, so anywhere from kindergarten up through 12th grade, and there's some higher ed stuff there as well too. So sometimes you can just look at what other people are doing and really get some good ideas. So they have a support community. That's really good to ask questions about using Edmodo if you're having some issues. Career and tech education, computer technology, and professional development. So you can choose to be a part of this, or you can just kind of watch what's going on and get some ideas. The real key here is this area called groups. For your perspective, groups is just another word for a class or a course. If you wanted to have people separated by course that you're teaching, you could call it, Management 101, 2013, -1, and that's your first section of that class. And if you're teaching another class of that same thing, it could be -2, whatever. And as you create a course, it's going to show up as a group. So I've just created one here that I'm going to use for demonstration purposes. And so I'm going to click on that now. I just called it Test Class. And so Test Class here is going to load. There we go. So I just want to show you some of the things that I have in here. First of all, just like any discussion board, you post a welcome to this. So that's what I did. Welcome to ACC 301. Again, I just made this up. This site is actually a virtual wall where we can post things. On this site, the students or the faculty can post anything from text to video, audio, various types of graphics and images. You can collaborate as a team, either as an entire class or individual groups. You can create polls. Some of you may have seen the software tutorial I have in here for polleverywhere.com. That's pretty much all that does. You can actually do something like that right inside here. You can take quizzes, So some of those other apps that I had out here that I showed you in previous videos where allows you to do some quizzing, you can do that kind of a thing. The Socrative is an example of that, but you can actually do quizzes in here. You can actually list assignments and have students submit it to this spot, in which you can then open it up and even communicate back with the students as far as feedback and grades and that kind of thing. It's also a great way to do a social hangout as well too, if you wanted to deal with some of that in your class. So I just put something in. Here's a cool link for technology, so I went out and put this in here. Particular site that I found that I thought would be interesting and relevant to the content that we're talking about in class. And then one of my students, Mary, she went ahead and posted a reply to that. I can also do things like, things of importance here. We'll go up and show you just for a second. An alert, I can put an alert out there. So if it's something I want, hey, pay attention to this, or don't forget next week we got a test, or whatever the case might be. So I can put an alert out there, and that's what this second item is. Don't forget to sign into our group code. I put out an alert, and Mary went ahead and said, yep, she went ahead and did that. Then here's an example of me loading an assignment into the class. I just created this assignment, and there's the student's doc. Anybody can actually hit reply to it. We can pull up this particular thing, and we got various things that we can do with it. I can download the file, we can preview it, look at an activity history for the number of people that have turned in this particular assignment. And then here's just an example of a poll, a quick poll that I created to put in here. This is a group poll, and what's your favorite animal? And I had a listing of 3 choices, and so forth. So let's, here's, notes. You just post a little note, alert we talked about. You can post an assignment here where students have the ability to submit it right to that particular spot. You can create a quiz and create a poll, and we'll deal with that in a little bit. To get back to where we were, or to get there from the start, there's your home button in the top left corner, and that's where you're going to be at most of the time. Here's our alerts and notifications right over here. If you have a number, this just is going to identify you that somebody else may have posted something to the spot that you may not have seen yet. I want to come over here to the left side just to show you some information for you as the teacher. This is a list of all of your posts. As this kind of area gets really long, I don't have a lot of stuff in here. You can pull things up by posts. You can have certain things listed in folders that you will release periodically. This would be a list of all your folders. The members that are in the class, we currently have 5 members who have joined so far. So if we knew we had 15 people in the class, we can see that we only have 5 to join. So that leads us to a good question. I'm going to show you real quick. Here's a list of our people in the class. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and the teacher makes 5, the owner of the group. But how do you get to the group? Great question. This particular group code, if you ever need to know what any of these things are,4DG, I45, that's the 6-digit group code. And so that's what a student will put in. You have to give that information to that group. So you can do that right in class. It can be something you send them to an email if you're going to start this whole thing in an offline environment, what have you. So, that's pretty much it. Relatively easy to do. I'm back to my home area just so you can see what that looks like. Test class. Again, anything that I'd want to do, if I wanted to create a note, I'm on the note page here. You can tell because that's black, and all of these other words are in blue. So I can just go ahead and enter my note. I posted. And if you had more than one group, you would have a choice in this box to choose which class this item is actually going to. Since I only have one, that pops up. If there was another group that I wanted to send this to and it didn't pop up, I would just hit this X and I would type in here what this particular thing is. I have the ability here to attach a file. I can attach a link. I can go into my library that I create. That's what this thing is up here, my library. I can have things archived, and I can schedule a particular message session. And then you just go ahead and hit send. And there you go. Pay attention to the list I posted. So anything else that I want to add, if I want to create a quiz, I go ahead and create a quiz, load a previously created quiz, or I can just hit right here and come up with a quiz. I have choices of short answer, fill in the blank, matching, multiple choice. So if you wanted to do some formative assessment along the way in your course, if you knew what you were going to get to each week, and periodically along the way you wanted to have to be able to just ask some students as you were doing some work, some group work, some individual work, or they were doing some reading on their own, or you just wanted to do like a pop quiz, you can pull all that stuff together. You can give the quiz a time limit. There's some specific things that you can do. You can add a number of questions and so forth. I'm going to go back to I'm not going to assign a quiz right now. Same thing with a poll. You could go in and add your poll question here, and then you have some choices. Our favorite color. And then you can put some possible answers in here. Blue, green, red, whatever. Okay, and then you're done with the poll. Send, select recipients for your message. So who do you want to send this particular poll to? You can send it to the entire course. And then you're good to go. So also want to show you that, you really have to play around with this. There's a lot of cool things that you can do here. And again, this is like one app where you can do a whole bunch of those things that those other apps did, along with storing some of your material and all that kind of stuff. So I think there's a lot of nice value here. I do want to take just a second to show you what this looks like from the student side of things. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, I'm back. This is what things look like from the student side. It looks exactly like your end on the front where you signed up now and said you're a teacher. Students are originally going to sign up the same way, except they're going to click I am a student. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, we're now seeing the view from the student side of things. I do want to show one thing, and that is, since I as a student have already logged into this particular class, the particular class that I'm in or group that I'm in, the test class in this case, has already popped up. I do want to point out that normally you would be asked for this code right here. So what is the group code that your instructor has to give you? In this case, this 4DGI45 would be what the student would enter, and then from that point on, as long as that particular group was going, you'd be in this spot. So just to kind of show you here, if I go all the way back to, looking at the various things that I showed you before, you as a student can get access to this. So, welcome to Edmodo when I originally signed in. Then there's the message from the instructor. There's the message from Mr. Payne about here's a cool link. So I, as the student, if I wanted to, I agree, very cool video, etc. Okay, and I can hit send, and then now that's been recorded in my stuff as well, as far as something I did, and I got credit for that. Don't forget to sign in. Yeah, obviously I did that because I'm in the class. This is my way. If I wanted to, I could. This is in this particular case, this next item is an assignment. So if I've completed this assignment already, there's the due date and what have you. I can just click turn in, and then I can actually go get my assignment and so forth. You have attachments and all that kind of thing. In this case, if you remember on the previous page, it said that it was supposed to be turned in by the 29th of August, so it's not turned in, then I am late. So at least it points that information out to the student. I'm going to go back to the home screen here. There's that one of the polls that we had in there earlier. Remember, the cat and dog were the two people. So cat, dog, cow, horse. I'm going to say horse, and I'm going to go ahead and vote. So now you see that that particular score has changed. So again, I've shown you the teacher side and the student side. I think this is one of those nice one-shot-fits-all type of a thing, that we're going to find lots of uses for this as we go forward and creative people get a chance to start using this. But I did want to show you this. This is one of my favorite tools, and those of you that want to give it a shot, I hope you have some luck for it, and I look forward to hearing some of the stories from what you guys are doing. Thanks.